What's going on, guys? Back on Pluto this time instead of the ports, just because I've been wanting to use the intervention with Blue Tiger, and this is the only way I can. Well, obviously it's not really the only way I can, but you know, my favorite way. Anyways, on today's alternate universe futuristic history lesson, we're gonna be talking about the Salamanders, the 18th Legion. The Salamanders are probably my favorite chapter other than the Black Templars, the Ultramarine poster boys. Why am I the only one who doesn't jump anymore? That's crazy. Anyways, the 18th Legion was originally called the Dragon Warriors instead of the infamous salamander name. That's because before the Primarch joined the Imperium, it was under leadership that wasn't the Primarch Vulcan. This dude Vulcan was born on a planet, not even born, he wasn't even born, he was basically like Superman sent in a pod. That's how these fucking Primarchs are basically born, quote unquote. They were made by the Emperor, but the Emperor made a deal with one of the Chaos Gods or the Warp Gods saying like, hey, yo, if you let me make my own humans, bro, I'll make a deal with you guys, whatever. We don't know what the deal was. In my opinion, I think the deal had to do with Horus and how it would become a time where like one of the Warp Gods was like, hey, you're gonna be raising one of your children is gonna fall to chaos. You can't do anything about it. It's got to be one of them. Choose one. Maybe he had to choose, maybe he didn't. But all I know is that person was Horus. Horus ended up being that like the person who betrayed him. And I don't know, maybe I got an ultra kill. Wow. Basically, though, the Primarch Vulcan was sent to this planet called Nocturne, and it's basically a volcanic planet of just fucking misery. Not misery, sorry. That's basically the Primarch for the Death Guard. He grew up on a plague-ridden world where it was ruled by like this necromancer tyrant, and that's just not a fun life. That's another time for another video. This man Vulcan is what's known as a fucking eternal or whatever the fuck they are. Basically, what I'm trying to say is this man Vulcan, the gift that he was given from the Emperor at birth was that he can never die. This motherfucker can like get chopped up, he can get cut in half, he can be thrown into space or the void, whatever they call it, but I'm telling you right now, he can't die, and it's probably the coolest fucking power ever. Okay, let me make something clear. This planet is not just bad because of the volcanic pollution or whatever the hell they call it. This fucking planet also houses dragons, bro. I'm so serious. This planet literally has dragons in it that live in the mountains. So let me do some reading on this. Let me look up Vulcan. Oh, Vulcan is a perpetual. Sorry. All right, so basically Vulcan was raised on Nocturne and he became a blacksmith. That's one of his qualities, and that's kind of another thing that was passed down into the Salamanders. Whoever became a Salamander would literally make their own weapons and shit like that. It's pretty cool. The Emperor came to Vulcan. The Emperor chose not to show himself to Vulcan straight away. Instead, the Emperor showed himself to Vulcan as this like hooded like man going on a quest to slay a dragon or something like that. And he basically was like, yo, Vulcan, come with me, bro, like this is gonna be a crazy fucking shit. Vulcan was like, okay. And basically Vulcan did some cool Primarch thing where like he didn't want to sacrifice the hooded man, and in turn the hooded man revealed himself to be the Emperor, and so he went with the Emperor after he revealed himself. By this time Vulcan was a fucking hulk of a man, fucking huge man. He was a blacksmith. This dude has jet black skin and can fucking see in the dark, because that's what people of Nocturne develop. Like not even with the gene seed, these guys just fucking learn to see through the dark because the conditions on that world. So the Emperor gathered Vulcan to have Vulcan lead his 18th Legion, which at the time was called the Dragon Warriors. I don't know who the Dragon Warriors were, like who the whatchamacallit guy was for the Dragon Warriors. But Vulcan was a different leader. He wasn't really like a king as what he described. He wanted to be a brother. Like him and his chapter were like brothers, you know? They all started to stem from Nocturne and stuff. So they all were like pretty close in that regard, which is really cool. Really cool for the chapter to have that familial bond. That makes sense. The Salamanders has probably I don't even know if it's insane tradition, but like the way you become a salamander, and apparently it's not even like you become a salamander after you do this. You fucking basically get the scouts to look at you if you do this, and that's what I've come to terms with, which is insane. But like what you have to do is what Vulcan did, mind you, a fucking Primarch. You have to basically go and on Nocturne kill a dragon. You have to slay a dragon, and you have to come back with like, I'm guessing, some proof. But like, yo, the dragons that are on their shoulder pauldrons, you have to kill one of those things, bro. Insane. And they fucking would fucking, some people wouldn't even return from that. Some people would just die. It was just even more insane. Think about it. Things wouldn't be all sunshine and rainbows though, however, because not shortly after Vulcan joined the Salamanders or joined the Dragon Warriors to turn them into the Salamanders, he probably be a part of the saddest, like him. It was the Salamanders, the Iron Hands and the Raven Guard that on an infamous day, they were more like the Horus Heresy. They were told by Horus, hey, meet us on this planet. We need you on this planet. Something's going on. And so they go over, the 3 chapters go over to this planet, only to be met with gunfire and bolter fire from all angles because they were led into a fucking trap, dude. A fucking trap set by Horus. That day was called it was the drop site massacre of Istvan 5. Basically, Horus led his 1,000 sons, followed by the Alpha Legion, the fucking Death Guard, the Warhounds, or sorry, World Eaters now.
Alright, what's going on, guys? It's your boy. And, alright, well, first off, hold on, we gotta do a little fucking remodeling here. Sorry. I just wanted to clear some things up. I didn't mention the Emperor's Children on here. That's another traitor legion that for some all right, I did some digging, and Vulcan fucking hates the Emperor's Children, bro. The purple and gold wearing motherfuckers that eventually turn into like the fucking dubstep sound enemies. Basically, they I don't know, it's music. They fucking kill everything with music. I don't know. But like, yo, these guys fucking started killing humans and civilians during the Siege of Terra and absolutely fucking broke Vulcan's patience, bro. Like, I don't know, he hates the Emperor's Children. I don't know why I didn't talk about that in this video, but like, that's just something to note, that of all the traitor Astartes, he hates the Emperor's Children so much. Slaanesh chosen champions, by the way, just saying.
And literally, they dropped in on the planet, and I don't even know what the numbers were at the time, whether it was like 20,000 brought down to 1,000 that day. And it was like, yo, the salamanders almost went extinct that day. Like, it's crazy to me that happened, man. At the Battle of Istvan 5, the drop site massacre, sorry, of Istvan 5, the Salamander's Primarch, Vulcan, like, I don't know if this man was slain, like, he was just defeated, and he was taken by one of the traitor Primarchs. And that's the guy who kidnapped him and started doing experiments and trying to kill him and shit like that, but couldn't fucking do it. It's crazy thing about, after the Horus Heresy, the Salamanders were the only chapter to not create second founding chapters within the chapter itself, because not only did they have less than almost 1,000 players left, but they couldn't splinter off. They just couldn't waste their numbers getting smaller by creating different chapters and stuff like that. And I don't even think they were recruiting during the second founding days, but later on they would create secondary chapters and whatnot after the secondary founding. They didn't really change up the armor, in my opinion, that much. I mean, obviously it's different from what it used to be. It was like a faded green back then, but now it's more of a prevalent, like a emerald or like a jade from this video I was watching. And they put the skull of the Drake, the volcanic dragon from their homeworld Nocturne. They put that shit on there as a symbol of like, yo, this is where we come from, motherfuckers. They're also all blacksmiths, and I mentioned that already. They make their weapons and shit like that, but that means they also have access to things that the other Imperium doesn't have at the moment, if that makes sense. Like, they have some old war gear, but they add things to it and whatnot, like different fucking mounted guns and shit. Pretty cool. Vulcan, after he returned, because I said it before that he was captured after the massacre, the drop site massacre of Istvan 5, recovered his body, brought him back to the Imperium. Once he recovered, he went back and he went out with the Salamanders, but apparently bro was later rumored to have been killed in one of his missions, but no one knows because his body was never recovered. So everybody thinks that he's gonna return one day, but there's these artifacts that have been scattered, and apparently 4 out of 9 have been found so far. However, these artifacts, once all grouped together, kind of like the Dragon Balls, oh my god, it's said that Vulcan will return. I don't know about you, but I'm low-key hyped for when that happens, because my guy Vulcan is probably the coolest Primarch, right next to Gilliman, because they're both like super cool and chill. In my opinion, they're so infamous for using melta weapons, and in this universe, multi-melta weapons, whatever they call them. It's like fire weapons, of course, because it's so on brand for the Salamanders, you know? Pretty peak in my opinion. They're known for like quick close quarters combat fights and stuff like that. At the same time, that could be a bad thing too, because they're not really known for their endurance. They're known for getting things done. Oh my god. Something that separates the Salamanders from the other chapters is how they are probably the most compassionate, in my opinion, of the entire Adeptus Astartes. Like, I would say that it's literally a curse to them how much they care for other human life, because in any mission they do, if there's any humans in it, nothing else matters other than the safety of those humans, which is of noble quality. However, it's caused some friction between the Salamanders and other chapters, such as the Black Templars. There's this infamous case back in whatever fuck of the 41st millennia that the salamanders were on a mission with the Black Templars, and at first things were like, oh shit, what's good, brother from another brother, bro, what's up? And they're like, hey dude, what's up, you guys are pretty edgy, dude, but hey, yo, you guys love the Emperor, so we love you, bro. And it's like, ah, dude, you guys are great. All right, cool. So like they're doing the mission, and they're both like kind of not brutal in my opinion. I feel like the salamanders and the Black Templars can do missions very well together. However, like all good things, the salamanders were, oh, there's only 3 people in here, dude. No, that sucks. They were on a mission, and then all of a sudden something required them to like deal with either having to save these humans, or we had to fight the enemy. Now, if you know a Black Templar, then you'll know they're like, okay, well, that's an easy fucking answer, or easy question, answer, whatever fuck. I'm fighting this motherfucker. And so the Templars were like, yo, salamanders, let's go. But the salamanders were like, what? No, you guys got that. We're staying here. We're defending the humans. And they're like, what? No. You guys gotta come with us. Come on, let's go. And they're like, no, we're defending the humans. Go and do your thing. We'll defend them. And they're like, no, but if you're like not stupid, dude, like we'll literally do more damage if you come with us and everything. And they're like, no, we're not leaving these guys alone to be killed. And it's very noble, but I'm not gonna lie, gangsters. That car ride home after the mission was completed. Hello. Interesting. Yo, I think on the car ride home, the chapter master at the time for the salamanders and the Black Templars, they were like, yo, these salamanders, you guys are noble fighters and you guys are great, but I don't want to work with any of your bitch ass chaptermen ever again, dude. Like, you guys are fucking pussies. That's basically what the Black Templars were saying. And then the fucking salamanders they're not putting up with that shit. So what do? Yo, the salamanders literally takes off his helmet, walks up to the Black Templars, dude, and punches him, like starts beating the shit out of him on the spot. And it's like, don't ever talk shit about and then the Templars were like, all right, yo, like whatever, but we don't ever want to work with you ever again.